Although this topic has been spoken about, I decided to redo this and expand more about it. There is a myth and fact within the DID community about altar deaths, and I am going to expand on it. The myth is altars can die. This alone is simply untrue, however. Altars indeed can die, but only when the body does. Altars can go dormant, fuse, split, and all of those can feel like an altar or altars have passed. When altars go dormant, it means they are taking a rest from the front and perhaps the primary system area. The time length in which an altar or altars stay in dormancy can vary, however short or long they need. Some altars stay in dormancy for a few hours to a day, or for some it may be years or for life. A fusion is when two or more altars come together and fuse into one. A fusion can be temporary or permanent. For some systems, they will strive for a final fusion. A final fusion is when all altars fuse into one altar. This does not automatically erase the disorder. It is rather a form of healing, to form one singular unification, instead of being split and multiple. A split is when something happens, may it be trauma, stress, a flashback, etc., to an altar or more, causing them to split another altar from within them. A split altar could take on partial looks from the altar they split from, some of the memories, etc. Although they split from an altar, these splits still are their own, having their own likes, dislikes, references, taste, style, etc. A split does not automatically erase the altar they split from, as that one is still existing. Dead altars are altars who form to present as if they are dead. These could include zombies, ghosts, etc., or they could be fragments who do nothing but seem quote-unquote dead. Although these altars were formed as such, this does not mean they will disappear. Being formed to present as one who is dead is vastly different than actually being. Dead altars can form or can hold traumatic memories relating to a passing, near-death experience, or even disorder in relations to. The disorder I speak is known as Cotard syndrome. It's a considerably rare disorder in which the subject believes they are dead, dying, or immortal. Now, although all of these give the sensation an altar or altars have died or are dying, they still exist. They do not simply go away because of these factors. As stated before, the only way for altars to truly pass on disappears when the brain-body does. Because altars were formed from the brain, it is only natural that is the brain that gives us quote-unquote life. Now, what of the case if the body were in a coma? The cause of a coma can be a serious head injury or a disease such as a stroke. When a person is in a coma, they become unresponsive and unconscious, unable to reply to the world outside. A coma usually lasts up from a couple of days to several weeks. On a more severe case where the comatose person goes into a vegetative state, the coma can last for months, or perhaps years, with a slim chance of survival. Now, being in a coma, does this mean your brain is no longer active? Your brain is still active, however, its activation is at a minimal. Now, because the body is in a comatose and the brain activity is low, it isn't known scientifically what happens to altars within. And we cannot take much of an educated guess, since all altars share one body and are all affected. If and when a comatose person wakes up, they will go through what is known as post-traumatic amnesia, a transient state of confusion, disorientation and memory loss that occurs immediately following TBI. This type of amnesia can last up for days or even years depending on the severity. Because the coma and post-traumatic amnesia affects all, more than likely there isn't an altar who holds memories during the comatose, Now, there may be one or more who will hold memories after being in a comatose and having post-traumatic amnesia, though affects everyone within the system. It does not cause alters to disappear, as there is still brain activity, and being in post-trauma amnesia indicates the person has woken up and is alive, thus alters within have not disappeared. However, if the body goes into a vegetative state and the brain no longer functions, that is when the brain has officially passed on, and that is the only time when alters truly disappear. Since alters do not come from anywhere else but the brain, when the body is brain dead and the plug is pulled, officially announcing the passing of, that is when one can truly say, alters have passed. From our own personal experience, we are survivors of traumatic brain injury, and have been in a comatose for a day due to what our ex-childhood friend did to us. Our childhood friend, our tormentor, pushed us off of a 2-story building, causing our head to collide with a stone, rendering us unconscious. When we woke after a day, none of us could remember the event before the incident, and while in a coma, our tormentor confessed to pushing us off, but pretend to say it was an accident. We did not disappear, as we woke up and are still here. However, we discover a split ended before it began due to the impact. So yes, while scientifically we do not yet know what happens within, from our own personal experience, a split can end due to such force. And for some, a split within a system not fully forming could feel like a passing. And for alters who were front to experience such a near-death experience, could then hold those memories, take on a newer form, or even believe they themselves are quote-unquote dead. I hope this gives an explanation about alter deaths, what it is and what isn't. Questions are always welcomed, as well as personal experiences. Hope everyone has a good time.